In our world of Erdos, every kid dreams of calling a spirit animal. Now, 4 unlikely heroes have summoned the great beasts of legend, and through our powerful bonds, we must save our lands from destruction. But we're going to need your help.
Spirit Animals, the legend lives in you. Look for Spirit Animals Book 2, Hunted, at your Scholastic Book Fair. Read the book, play the game, enjoy the adventure at spiritanimals.com.
Military dog Carlos and his handler approach the entryway of a munitions shelter in the middle of a battle. Enemy combatants detonated an IED device, and Carlos is thrown back, collapsing his lungs and breaking his back, legs, and hip. His handler lays several feet away, also severely injured. There is intense gunfire everywhere. Despite his own injuries, Carlos manages to crawl over to his handler to protect him.
That's exactly the type of courage and loyalty that we look for in special operations working dogs. My name is Mike Ritland, owner of Tricos International. I'm outside my training facility in Cooper, Texas, and this is where we train dogs for the military, for police, and for personal protection. As a young boy, I was smaller than average. There was many times where I was bullied and picked on, and one of the things that I learned very quickly was that it was the inner determination that I had to succeed and the will to want to do special operations type missions as an adult that really carried me through all of those tough times as a kid. The book Navy SEAL Dogs is an insider's account of Naval Special Operations working dogs. I wanted to give the viewer an idea of what breeds we use, the history, the type of missions that we go on, and all the different types of training that these dogs go through prior to their deployments. What I would like you, the reader, to get from this book is to have an understanding of how special and unique these dogs are. It's impossible to relate the amount of importance that these dogs bring to the table. They have saved thousands of American lives and are something that we truly cannot fight without. If you want to learn more about these amazing animals, pick up a copy of my book, Navy SEAL Dogs, at your Scholastic Book Fair.
Welcome. You have arrived at the Haunted Museum. It's a place where dreams are made. Bad dreams. No one escapes unaffected by what they find within the museum. The items that touch your hands will eventually come back to touch your life in a most terrifying manner. Take, for instance, the case of 2 sisters, Samantha and Jessica Burnett, who were about to embark on a cruise into a ghostly past thanks to a peculiar locket they see first at the Haunted Museum. Jessica saw the signs, but still could not resist opening the locket. Just one quick look inside, she thought, before she and her sister had to race to the cruise ship where their parents were waiting frantically. Now, this was no ordinary cruise. The ship was an exact replica of the Titanic, and it was about to recreate the maiden voyage of that ill-fated luxury liner, minus the sinking. When Samantha spotted the attractive boy boarding the ship, things began to look promising, until the locket appeared. Climb aboard the haunting cruise you will never forget. See what lies behind the strange locket and discover the chain of terrifying events it unleashes. Read the first book in Suzanne Wayne's new series, The Haunted Museum, The Titanic Locket. Look for it at your book fair.
It's unfair. It's a big misunderstanding. I just gave that dumb statue a little tap and... Next thing I know, I'm under attack in the superintendent's office. And a mix-up with some papers lands me in the gifted and talented uncool school. Me, Donovan Curtis, king of the underachievers. In the uncool school. Unreal. How am I going to remain under the radar among all these brainiacs? How long before they uncover the truth and realize that I am just ungifted?
Get ready for some uncontrolled laughter as Donovan Curtis learns the greatest lesson of his life with the help of a school full of geeks and a robot named Tin Man. Ungifted. Look for it at your Scholastic Book Fair.
I'm sure that many of you have seen films about the Holocaust or studied the Holocaust in school. It was a time when the Nazis were rounding up Jewish people and anybody who was different and didn't fit their perfect model and putting them into concentration camps and prisoner camps. Too often we tend to think of these atrocities in terms of fictional accounts or something from your textbook, dates and numbers, and we forget that they happen to real people. People like Janek Bruner, who is Jack Bruner. He was 10 years old in 1939 when the Nazis invaded Poland, and he was 13 years old when he was taken from the Krakow ghetto and taken to the first of many concentration camps.
And in concentration camps, people didn't have an identity, they became numbers. He ceased having a name like all prisoners, and so Jack got that number, B3087. B stands for Birkenau, a little town that the camp was erected, walking distance from Auschwitz.
I'm Alan Gratz, and I first met Jack when he and his wife Ruth brought Jack's story to Scholastic and said, we have an incredible story to tell you, and we want to get it out into the world. And Scholastic came to me and said, can you help us tell Jack's story? Jack's is a story of survival, having his family taken away from him, sometimes marched, sometimes packed in like cattle into train cars, and taken from camp to camp. He kept hope alive. He kept remembering who he was inside, even when they took his name away and they tattooed a number on his skin and told him, this is who you are now. He remembered that he was Janek. I couldn't imagine how I would handle that. How would you handle it? You can pick up this amazing story of Jack Bruner, prisoner B3087, at your Scholastic Book Fair.
Some days, I feel invisible. I don't want to be the center of attention. I just want to be seen.
Have you ever felt like no one knew you existed? Like you were slowly disappearing from your family and friends? That's how Gabby Torres feels, more and more alone. But she's about to meet her guardian angel. My name is Victoria Schwab, and I wrote a series called Everyday Angel about a very peculiar girl named Aria, who walks right out of a shadow one day and into the world. And in order to earn her wings, she'll have to help 3 very different girls. I absolutely love creating the character of Aria. One of the things that makes her fairly unique is that when she walks out of her own shadow and into the world that first day, she's never been a person before. She doesn't know how to be one. And so not only does she have to figure out how to help these girls, starting with Gabby, she has to figure out how to be a human being. Because of all that, Aria naturally stands out, and it's not just because of her colorful shoelaces. Aria is sent to help a girl named Gabby Torres. Gabby's brother has been sick for a very long time, and over the course of that illness, his problems have seemed louder and louder, which makes Gabby's own day-to-day problems seem quiet by comparison, and she has started to disappear from her own family. It's up to Aria to convince Gabby that it's all right to want to be seen. You don't have to be the center of the universe, but you don't have to disappear either. So this is Aria's challenge. She sets out with guidance, humor, and a touch of magic to help Gabby Torres find her voice. So head over to your Scholastic Book Fair and pick up the first book in my Everyday Angel series, New Beginnings.
It began with a bite from a silver beetle, a bite that could transform a human into a grotesque robotic creature. And a bite from one of these monsters would transform you into something horrific. The private academy was in lockdown. Students and teachers were being taken over by the virus in a matter of minutes. The few remaining children boarded themselves into the biology building and fought for their lives. The metallic monsters were programmed for one thing: get in and get them. Read this exciting, mind-blowing thriller of cyborg zombies made of flesh and bone and circuits of silver. Look for it at your Scholastic Book Fair.
Annie was told by her mother that she was an insignificant girl and that her voice would never be heard. Her father is off fighting in Spain's civil war, while on the horizon are the beginnings of another war, a world war. That is when she meets Matthias, and he is like lightning.
I'm Christina Diaz-Gonzalez, and I'm the author of A Thunderous Whisper. It's really the power of friendship and how just one person can make such a big difference in someone else's life. And what Annie sees Matthias as being this lightning and this powerful force, he's all about the flash and the energy and the power and making a difference and changing the world. Annie and Matthias do the one thing that it's probably not a good idea to do during wartime, which is spy on a group of spies. If they get caught by anyone, they could be charged with treason. They would be considered spies just like the adults. So it's very dangerous what they're doing, but they know that it's for the greater cause. She discovers that even though she can't be exactly like him, she can be thunder to his lightning, and she has her own power within her. Look for my book, A Thunderous Whisper, at your Scholastic Book Fair.
What would you do with $30 million? That's the question the whole town of Cedarville is asking when there's an unclaimed lottery ticket, and the money will go to whomever finds it first. It's another epic adventure for Griffin Bing, the man with the plan, when he sets out to be the lucky winner. But he's going to need a lot of help from a rowdy Doberman, a strange invention, and a crazy set of wheels to hit this jackpot. Pick up the 6th book in Gordon Corman's best-selling Swindle series, Jackpot. Look for it at your Scholastic Book Fair.
It's the 2014 Scholastic Book of World Records, where you'll find the fastest, the largest, the tallest, and the most popular record holders to date. You can also learn about a global team of kids who read 176,438,473 minutes last summer and earned a spot in this book. Find out how you can join this year's team by visiting scholastic.com/summer. And remember to pick up the 2014 Scholastic Book of World Records at your Scholastic Book Fair.